What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Dr. John C. Turner, aka the Professor JT, and I am on another great episode of the Doc Chat Show. And let me tell you, this one's extra special because I got the Saint Academics. I have the doctors of pharmacy here from St. Louis doing their thing. I'm telling you, I'm excited to have them on. Hey, if you're checking out the Doc Chat Show, if you have a doctorate degree, if you're working on a doctorate degree, if you just want to say hi, holler at us in the comments. We'll be here for an hour of power, and I'm excited to have these great doctors on. So, without further ado, I'm going to give them a little air time to let you know who they are. Starting with the great Dr. Jordan Norde. We appreciate you for being on the Doc Chat. Say hello to the folks.
Hi, everybody. Dr. Jordan Norde here. I am the clinical pharmacist at Affinia Healthcare, as well as the president of St. Louis Black Pharmacists Association. So excited to be here tonight and just share with you guys my journey through pharmacy school and what I'm doing now.
Better watch out now. What is up? That's what we're going to find out. All right, we have the great Dr. Antoinette Davis-Hatton. We appreciate you for being on. Welcome to the Doc Chat Show. Let folks know a little bit about yourself.
Hey everybody. Before I even get into me, I have to thank my family because a lot of you guys are on. I'm not going to shout you out one by one because that's too many people, but thank you guys for tuning in. So my name is Dr. Antoinette Davis-Hatton. I am a pharmacist right now at Walgreens in the central utilities. So I remotely help all of the stores across the United States and plus some because they're all over the place. But before that, I've actually opened a pharmacy for a company that was a startup company. I worked as a clinical pharmacist at AleraCare most recently and do a lot of things. I'm specifically focused on helping with students. So Jordan can attest to that. She's been one of my students.
Oh, okay. We love that. We love that. And the family gonna holler at you anyway. Oh, Auntie says what's up from OKC. We appreciate you for tuning in and all the family. Make sure y'all holler out at the great Dr. Davis-Hatton. We appreciate you. And my man representing all of the black male pharmacists, Dr. L. Clinton Martin. We appreciate you for being on the Doc Chat. Holler at the people. Let them know a little about yourself.
Sure. My name is Dr. Lawrence Clinton Martin the third, but I go by Clinton. I graduated from St. Louis College of Pharmacy. After that, I have done a plethora of different areas of pharmacy from community, long-term care, specialty, digital health. It's been a wild journey, but it has been a fun one. And currently, I'm a pharmacist at a long-term care pharmacy here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I did graduate from St. Louis College of Pharmacy.
Well, we hope that all is well and you safe down there, my brother. And we appreciate you for being on. We appreciate folks for checking in. I mean, this is great. We love it. We appreciate you, Dr. Kelly, for checking in. We want to make sure we highlight our doctors for sure. So we're going to start with Dr. Antoinette Davis-Hatton. Why pharmacy school? Could have went MD, probably could have went PhD, but why go to pharmacy school? Tell us what was the decision and what made you take that step in the St. Louis College of Pharmacy.
Man, so this one is my strong and true story. So I was interested in medicine since I was young, like middle school age. My grandmother, who is tuning in, takes a plethora of medications as well as vitamins. And I was always curious about why she had so many. What was the necessity? How did that work? Like, it didn't make sense to me because sometimes she'd be like, this is for my blood pressure, but then this is for the side effects of my blood pressure. And so it always made me really curious. And she and my grandfather, they really did a good job of making sure that we pursued our dreams. Anything we were interested in, they subjected us to, as well as my parents. So when I expressed interest, they took it upon themselves to help me see what the world of pharmacy was about. Like, what are medications about? And I will never forget this. So my grandfather on my paternal side is from, his father lived in St. Louis, and we used to visit St. Louis. And when I was in high school, I actually visited St. Louis College of Pharmacy with my grandparents. and found out that it was straight out of high school, and that kind of scared me. So I was like, I'm not ready for something like that. That's a big decision. I mean, I know I want to be pharmacist, but that's a major commitment at 17. So I'm not going to do it yet. So I went up to undergrad. I actually got waitlisted at my school that I ideally wanted to go to. And then one of my friends who got in, like we worked at pharmacy together in undergrad, she got into St. Louis College of Pharmacy and was like, apply here, I'm going here. And so I was like, wait, that's the same school from my childhood that my grandparents introduced me to. So I applied and I got in, and that's kind of where it went from. I was super there's the grandmother who took me to St. Louis College of Pharmacy. So they introduced it, and my family is always supportive. As you can see, they're in the chat already, and they will continue to be in the chat because they are my biggest cheerleaders, but they helped nurture my interest, and it's been planted since day one.
We love that. That's beautiful. Thank you for the family coming to support. We appreciate that so very much. And Dr. Martin, why go to pharmacy? I mean, as a Black male, I know it might not have been too many of us there. I don't want to assume, but why make that decision to go to pharmacy school, Dr. Martin? Oh, I think we got to get you off mute there, brother. There you go. You're good.
Perfect. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do out of high school, and I decided that it may be something I was interested in. Shadowed a pharmacist at Walgreens, and I was like, there is no way that I want to do this the rest of my life. But what the Walgreens pharmacist wasn't telling me is all of the knowledge that went behind all of the decisions he was making. And after that, I ended up having a family friend who was a pharmacist and owned his own compounding pharmacy. So I worked with him, and I was a compounding laboratory pharmacy technician at 16, and decided after high school to go into pharmacy school. And I will say that it definitely matches my personality. Before that, I was looking at medicine and whatnot, but I think really being able to have knowledge, give recommendations, and be able to really see patients grow throughout their journey of their medication management is really what attracted me to the field.
Okay. We appreciate, like I said, the folks tuning in. Oh, good morning, Rudy. Good morning to you. Hey, yeah, I know the Doc Chat show is going international. We love that. We love to see it. Now we go to the great Dr. Jordan Norde. Why go to pharmacy school? Why was that the path for you?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, my mom was like, you've got to go, you've got to do something in the medical field. That's the way you're going to make money. It's going to be around forever. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I looked into being an anesthesiologist, but for several reasons, mostly the blood and guts, that wasn't for me. So after deciding that wasn't the route, I was introduced to pharmacy. And pharmacy, I was able to do a high school program where during the spring semester of my junior year, we were actually bused from my high school to the College of Pharmacy. And that was my first introduction to the College of Pharmacy. And we did like a technician training program. We were counting pills. And some people in the class were like, this isn't it. I was like, this is great. I can do that.
That's awesome.
So ended up applying to a Walgreens program, was accepted, did that summer. And then my senior year applied and ended up going to St. Louis College of Pharmacy. And so pharmacy just kind of fell into my lap a little bit, but I think the exposure that I was able to get in high school really made all the difference. And I think that's one of the things that I'm, passionate about, just letting people know pharmacy's here. It's a really incredible career field if you're able to get into it and find your space where you love to be. And so, yeah, that's pharmacy for me.
Love that. We love that. The family still tapping in. We appreciate your family for tapping in. We love that. We love to celebrate the doctors And I got plenty of great doctors of pharmacy right here. Dr. Martin, Dr. Davis-Hatton, and Dr. Norde. And now we about to jump into that real talk. We're going to start with Dr. Davis-Hatton. You're in the program now. What were some of the parts of the program that you was like, oh man, I don't know if this is for me? Or what were some of the parts of the program you were like, you know what? I think I got this.
So honestly, even before the program, going to college is hard, man. And the prereqs that they require for school is challenging. And my first challenge in undergrad was actually organic chemistry. That will be the downfall of my life. I took it 3 times, not gonna lie, and was like, I'm just never gonna get into pharmacy school because of this class, this one class. Like, I'm not gonna get there. But I took it 3 times. One of which I sat in the class. I actually didn't even enroll in it. And then from there, once I got to pharmacy school, I was like, all right, I got this. I'm a rocket. My very first semester, one of the easiest classes as far as turning in your work, quizzes were fine, but they had this rule that I've never experienced, which is you have to get a certain percentage on at least one exam, regardless of your overall score in the class and performance, or you fail. And I was like, excuse me? I what? And I was a part of that large percentage. We actually had an overwhelming amount of people who did not make that, and I missed it by like 0.8 of a percentage. And I was so mad. I was in there crying. And I was like, this isn't for me. It's the writing on the wall. Well, the school was like, hey, we had for the first time ever, had an enormous amount of people who are in the same boat. So what we ended up doing is we had to go to a 2-week boot camp over Christmas break, sacrifice our Christmas break.
Wow.
They had us redo the entire coursework in those 2 weeks and then retake the final at the end of that. And I passed it with no issues. Nice. And they said, if you pass it, you move on. If you don't pass it, then you got to repeat an entire year or leave. And that was the biggest challenge. But after I did that one and I was like, okay, I can do this in 2 weeks. I was like, this school's not going to stop me.
That's right.
Honestly, these two can actually speak on it. We experienced some racial stuff while we were there, discrimination. There were some challenges. Even after I graduated, I got with alumni and with Dr. Norde's help and have tried to push for that specific university to be there for minorities because it's crazy. So that was another piece that actually made me struggle for a while in there. Like, is this even for me? Do I want to do this? But we all bound together. We created the Black Student Alliance together. We really stood by each other and helped each other through. I mean, one of my best friends is someone I met from St. Louis College of Pharmacy, and we'll have a lifelong friendship because of the things that we all had to go through together, not just in the curriculum, but just in the environment that we were in. But yeah. I'm not one to give up. I came from teenage parents. We don't give up. We don't give up.
I love that. And I know they are very proud of you. Thank you for the honesty, because a lot of us, especially Black people, when it comes to these programs, they make us feel like we don't belong there. And we do belong there. And so I'm very proud of you, proud of all 3 of you for that. Dr. Martin, hey man, you in that doc program now, you in that pharmacy school, you made it. But what was those times where it felt like, maybe this ain't for me?
For me, I think that when group of, I think there was 9 Black students that were admitted into that program that year. Previous to that, they only had 3 or 4 at a maximum Black students that were in the program. So it was a very big culture shock for a lot of the students, the alumni, as well as just us as students going through it, which was interesting and challenging to get just every day throughout the process. But I will say the program is tough, and it makes it very, very challenging for students that don't necessarily have the amount of support. But I will I will say for me, I'm not a straight A student. I never have been, and I struggled significantly getting through the program. I seem to be more focused with leading organizations and making sure that I'm growing the people around me and not necessarily growing myself academically, which led to some mishaps when it came to academics, but was able to focus and get my head on straight, so I was able to finish the program. But yes, there was definitely some challenges, but I mean granted, we were going through the program in 2015 with Michael Brown and everything that was going on, the protests. We're
Yeah.
trying to study, but yet we still want to go out and advocate. But it was definitely a struggle to get through. But I'm very, very happy that I did and that we all did.
Very proud of you. Very proud of you. Folks, we appreciate you so much. Everybody is tapping in the comments. We appreciate them much. And I'm telling you, we got Dr. Norde, we got Dr. Davis-Hatton, we got Dr. Martin, and they're telling us the real talk about these programs. Now, something I want to make sure I tap in and really jump into, because I don't think a lot of people realize this, and we'll go to Dr. Davis-Hatton. This was a straight out of high school 6-7 year program.
For some of the students, yes. So they have two pathways. I went the non-traditional, so that's considered the traditional route, which
That's
is
the tradition. Okay.
you go straight out of high school. You do now the way the program's set up, I believe 3 years of undergrad work through them. They award you a bachelor's, which is now seen across a lot of the universities and recognized, and then you move into the pharmacy program, which is 4 years. That would be the traditional route. I went the non-traditional, so I actually went to the University of Oklahoma. Go OU, Boomer Sooner. And then from there, I transferred into the program. So I applied after I had obtained my bachelor's degree and then went into the school. So I did the 4 years there, which was just the pharmacy program on my end.
Okay. Okay. And Dr. Norde, you went straight from high school, 6-7 years straight through. That's how your path was. So tell me about you finally being in the program and what was like, wow, what is going on here?
Yeah, so like you said, straight from high school, 7 years, graduated in 21. But during all of that, I remember my freshman year, 2014, Mike Brown happened, and it was like right at the start of my college career. And I think that it was one of the most defining things for me. Like Antoinette mentioned, we all sort of started the the Black Student Alliance together, and it sort of was birthed out of that moment. All these Black faces on campus, feeling very isolated, being the only face in the classroom. Look, if you ask a question that has something to do with, your experience as a Black person, everybody in the class is like, looking for your opinion and things like that. And having to have these conversations and field, the things that they have to say and wanting to force their opinion and trying to like not get involved, but also, hey, you got me messed up. And also Facebook, and also, so there's a lot of things happening all at once. And the whole time you're like, I'm just trying to study. I'm just trying to be a student like everybody else. I do not want to be the voice for the Black for the Black people. And during that time, I mean, I was an athlete. I did basketball and soccer my first year. And
In
just
college
in
while working on
college.
a pharmacy pro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I
That's
played
crazy.
soccer my first and my freshman and sophomore year, and I only played basketball my freshman year because my sophomore year I decided to pledge Delta Sigma Theta. Ooh. And so that was a rigorous experience as well. So all of these different things, like Clinton alluded to, just being in that space where you're like involved with the organizations and like, okay, yeah, school matters, but like this is fun. But also like I also was not a straight A student by any stretch of the matter. but I just, I remember in school, people would always be like, how do you do so much? How do you get all that done? Like, you're always doing something. Still true to this day, I'm guilty. But I think that was my experience, just always trying to be actively involved in places maybe I necessarily didn't want to be. And then
Yeah.
trying to just be the best I could, make my family proud, do the things that are expected of me, and at the highest degree that I'm able to. So it was definitely challenging. Always, like I said, that racial piece always played a role, and then of course school, and nobody else gets it, but they have a lot of things to say about how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
So yeah, lots of different experiences as a PharmD student.
Wow, that's incredible. It's incredible. Telling y'all, we just get started. Got Dr. Martin, Dr. Norde, Dr. Davis-Hatton here on the Doc Chat Show. These are Black doctors of pharmacy. And as you see, folks, these are some young folks out here, young folks. I ain't going to tell my age, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit more seasoned for them. But I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the PharmD, the fact you could be in your mid-20s and already a doctor. It's incredible. Dr. Davis-Hatton, tell us about that. Why is this degree so amazing for the young Black professional?
Man, so one, I appreciate that you think that I'm in my mid-20s. I am not, but I very much appreciate that.
We all in our mid-20s. How about that?
Man, so I feel like this opportunity kind of, one, it did a couple different things for me. One, it gave me confidence that I've never had. I've always struggled with that. And so there's a level of confidence like, dang, I'm really a doctor. Like, people out here really calling me Dr. Antoinette. I have students who call me Dr. D. And to this day, I'm like, it's okay. You're no longer one of my students. I'm Antoinette. No, you're Dr. D. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. It has some weight. I'm not going to lie. It's a great feeling to know that you've done something like this. But the doors that it opens, I feel like there are those challenges still. But at the same time, once you've obtained that degree, those grades don't matter, which is one thing that the two of them have spoken on. And I also was not a straight A student. I struggled as well. I balanced, at one point, I was working 2 jobs and going to school in pharmacy school. So I've had to work the whole time and like make sure bills are paid. But once you get past those grades and actually get licensed, apologies, my toddler's in the room with me. Give me just a second.
All good. It's all good. Yeah, we want to make sure that all the future pharmacists are well as well. So you are all good. But go ahead, finish your thought. You're all good.
Thank you. So it does open up some doors. So one, I went straight after I actually passed boards. I went straight into being a pharmacy manager. So I was a pharmacist in charge. I was the manager of a pharmacy in CVS and Target. And it was amazing. I mean, this young face, people would walk up and they would have an attitude. And as soon as they looked up and saw my picture hanging and realized that I was the one in charge, it was like a horror story. Like, there's that piece. So you hold a different weight to people once they find out that you're a doctor, especially a doctor of pharmacy. It's like, hold on, even in my family, like I get questions all the time, which I do not mind. I love it. But like, you literally get this level of, you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing. There's also a level of trust, I believe, that's there that normally wouldn't be there. So, I mean, I got hired by a startup company, to open their very first pharmacy in Arizona while they were in a different state, and they trusted me to do that. So this title really does hold some weight, and it does get you places.
Love that. We love that. We appreciate you, Dr. Raj, checking in. He's all the way down there in the A. We appreciate you doing your thing for sure. And Dr. Martin, now you getting that degree, you're kind of getting on that wrap up end, but man, what does it feel like when you do finally get it? And how does it feel representing Black males as a doctor of pharmacy?
Yeah, I've thought about that question a lot. And for me, getting my degree was challenging, mainly because from an emotional standpoint, because it's great that you're now a doctor and you have this degree and you have all that work behind you. But it kind of was a identity crisis for me to figure out who was I as a pharmacist when had been a pharmacy student for so long. Because like Dr. Jordan, I started as a high school student, or I guess right after high school. So I was a pharmacy student for 6 years before and the and you word everything appropriately from a clinical standpoint, everything from a legal standpoint as well as from perspective. That was thing on me. But it the pharmacy, and I was in that bit of that basis, but that really take my make the way that my life.
Love that. We love that. I'll tell you, folks, these are some all-star doctors right here, doing amazing things. All of them in different parts of the country as well. So, hey, you can take that doctor degree worldwide if you want to, and we absolutely love it. We're here on the Doc Chet Show. Dr. Norde, Dr. Davis-Hatton, and Dr. Martin, and I appreciate y'all so very much. And without further ado, we're going to that fun part that we love to go to as we're here on the Doc Chat Show. So let me get that first guy pulled up there. Dr. Martin, you finally get to the finish line. Tell us about it. What did it mean? What did it mean to finally get hooded and get to that finish line?
Yeah, so the graduation part, I don't actually remember that much of the ceremony, but it was weird to not have to go back to the college anymore. But it was amazing to be able to actually start working on the next process, because I find that I have problems celebrating my accomplishments. And it was great to go on to boards, which was an all-out study mania fest for me, because I was just cramming all of the information that I had learned over the past 4 to 6 years in my brain to be able to sit down and take this very expensive exam and try and pass it, which I did. But it was I remember the day was somewhat hot, but it was a good day for sure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And Dr. Davis-Hatton, the hooding, the moment. What did it mean to you to finally get to that doctor finish line?
Man, that was an amazing feeling. Like, to know that I've set my sights on this since I was a preteen, and I finally did it. And I get to be a doctor right up there with my daddy, who's the other doctor of the family. And it was just a great feeling to be able to be there, to have my family and loved ones there. It was like, it's hard to put it in words. It was just a really great feeling. There was also that level of, like, because I'm always responsible and like thinking forward and not being able to focus fully on the moment of, man, now I got to pay these loans off. So there was that piece as well at the same time. So it was a little bittersweet, but I still was able to enjoy it and be super proud that I finally made it.
And what year did you get done? And then Dr. Martin, what year did you get done?
2017 for me.
2017. Okay, Dr. Martin.
As well.
Right. Okay. And Dr. Norde, we're headed your way. Let me get to you. What did it mean to put on that Delta Sigma Theta kente cloth and cross that doctor's state?
I was on mute. It felt amazing. Honestly, it was everything I've ever worked for finally coming true. All of the blood, sweat, tears, all of the long sleepless nights that I'm still trying to recover from, because 4 a.m. nights, we won't talk about it. But it's still really it was the best. It was the best feeling ever. And similar to what Antoinette said, like that like, oh, people call you doctor now, like, oh, okay. And I was actually headed home from work today, and one of the guys, he was like, bye, Dr. Norde. And I was like, oh, bye, and that's one of the things I really love about like my job. They really, and not even my job, but just people in general, just always like, Dr. Norde this and Dr. Norde that. And I'm like, right, yep, put some respect on my name, and that's one of my, one of the big things is like, not only that, because I sometimes forget to do that, but to know that my accomplishment means so much to those in my community, and that I'm able to share that information. Like Antoinette said, like, I'm the person that so many people ask, like, oh, what about this medication? And what about this side effect? I heard that this happens. What do you think about this? And just being able to have those conversations with people. And now being, on the other side of it, still trying to, I graduated in 2021, so I still have a little bit of PTSD. There's a lot of things we're still working on.
Yeah.
But I think that's valid. I mean, I've been in school longer than I have not been in school. So still trying to unlearn some of those, college habits, and just be better and grow and try to support the next generation of pharmacists that are coming up. So
We appreciate that. Hey, they showing y'all love. Kaylin Brewster wants to say thank you for creating an amazing organization. And I want to know a little bit about that organization. What did you create? Talk about it. Tell the folks about it. We want to know about it.
Absolutely. So St. Louis Black Pharmacists Association Incorporated is my baby. Okay. That is what I put all of my effort and energy into right now. Well, I'll say majority of my effort and energy right now. So we have a broad mission, but mostly as a nonprofit organization, we're seeking to create community for Black pharmacists in the St. Louis area, and hopefully go nationwide beyond just our little area of St. Louis and the metropolitan region. We also target current pharmacy students, so being able to provide them with scholarships and mentorship. And we also are planning to develop a pipeline program for students as young as middle school, just to become a lot more aware and exposed to pharmacy and healthcare in general. So it's been such a fun process. So I founded the organization in June of 2022. Took the time to sort of put my board together, asked pharmacists, is this something you think would be useful? Found a few people that were wanting to help. So shout out to Dr. Misty Farr and Dr. Cameron Gray, who were my first board members. And then we added Dr. Camry McNutt, who has been essential to our organization as well. And so all of that sort of occurred in the March timeframe. Well, in that first 2022, and then we added Dr. McNutt in March as well. And then we had our first event in April, which was our scholarship awards reception, where we were able to give away 3 $500 scholarships to PharmD students. And so we have 2 options. We have the St. Louis Black Pharmacists Association Scholarship, STLBPA Scholarship, which gives, which awards a student funds for either tuition expenses, books, living expenses, whatever they need. It's a check directly to them to make sure that they have the money that they need to do what they need with it. And then we also have the board examination scholarship, which provides students. This year we were able to give the $500 for their NAPLES exam. Our goal is to be able to expand that so we can cover the full cost of board exams, which is about $1,000. And you can imagine you're going through school broke, then you go on rotations, you work 40 hours a week for no pay, you're dog tired, you're going home to study because the preceptor is like, and what's the rate of the pharmacokinetic situation and the curve and all of that, and you're like, well, I don't know, that was 4 years ago. And you're just trying to figure out, so many different things all at once. Working is difficult. Many people do, but it's very hard to balance all of those things. And then you get to the end of that 4th year and you're like, okay, here's another, pay for your boards, your books, and all of the things to study for your board application. For your board exam. And then you have to prepare money for the application itself. the test itself, the fingerprinting, the background exam. So all of these different things that are coming up at the end, and you're like, where's this $1,000 coming from? So like many of us, either a loan product, so a credit card or something like that. And that's stressful, right? Because you're like, oh, here we go again, another added expense. And so we're just really trying to fill that gap. We're wanting to make it a lot easier. You focus on studying, you focus on passing your boards on the first try, rather than having to do it multiple times because you were stressed out because you had to work to pay for the thing. So that's really, those are our scholarships. And that's really where that's the big part of the focus for me, because I remember being a pharmacy student my freshman year. There weren't a lot of people that looked like me. I'm actively applying for scholarships. There's none there. Those that are at the school either are leaving or are not, interested in really connecting with you, or there's 3 of us in this little pod and we're like, okay, we're going to get through it together, guys. And then somebody falls off, and then it's, so it's a whole lot. We talked about that experience, right? So really just trying to create community, say, hey, we got y'all, we understand. And just really wanting people to know that experience, though everyone's is different, we're sort of still all in this together, and they don't have to do it alone. And then, like I mentioned, I can go on all day about this, but as I mentioned, we also have our pipeline program for the young students. And so that's something that we've sort of been able to integrate over time. So as we've started, we've had very rapid growth starting from our first event in April. And one of the things that we saw a need for is that exposure for students. And so that's sort of the next phase we're moving into, being able to provide mentorship and that exposure. Our goal is to have a pharmacy day camp. So I'm saying that I haven't really told that many people about that. So y'all are getting money.
We got exclusive here.
Exclusive folks. So we've got that coming up. Still in the process of getting that in the works, but just really trying to build community. And that's what it's really all about.
We love that. All right, got Dr. Martin, Dr. Davis-Hatton, and Dr. Norde. They talking about the real talk of getting that Doctor of Pharmacy degree, and we appreciate it. And Dr. Davis-Hatton, you got the next future pharmacist. Look, from what I'm hearing and seeing, it's 30 minutes and that's about it. The kid needs mom after that, and that's okay. That's all right. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing in your side hustle, in your spare time. Well, I mean, we see what a lot of the time goes to, but what are some other great talents that the great Dr. Antoinette has?
So prior to this, I actually was modeling part-time, pretty much professionally. I had started off amateur, but I was, what happened?
It's okay. I know. She said she's not going to model no more. She said she's retired.
So I did do that. And then my newest side hustle, though, is I'm working. Okay, we'll get more. Hold on. Let mommy talk, okay? I'm actually working on a staffing agency. So we will be doing this. I'll be launching this along with my husband, but we're going to launch it first with pharmacists, a staffing agency for pharmacists. Specifically, my 2 focuses will be staffing for the state of Arizona. So making contracts and finding temporary, preferably full-time positions for pharmacists, as well as in New Mexico. That was our other place. And then Nevada will be my 3rd state that I'll be looking at. So I am working on that. It's in the works. I've got my business plan. I've got my business page. I've got everything set up. I'm just needing to make those last little final financial moves to get it going and just jump feet first, head first. However, I don't care. I'm gonna just flop. I'm a belly flop in. So that is what I'm working on. That is my next hustle. And I feel really good about it. I actually feel very passionate about it, because one thing that I feel like people don't do in the application process is advocate for those applicants. I've gone through some staffing agencies, and I really feel like it's whomever gets them the best deal, rather than advocating for those people, getting to know who they are trying to staff, and then making a good fit. Because at the end of the day, I've placed myself, honestly, in companies that I didn't vet, that I didn't know anything about. And honestly, they were more learning situations. I didn't love them, but I learned lessons. And then there were some that I absolutely loved. But I've worked so many jobs since I was a teenager that I feel like I know how to find the right applicant to fit them with the right company. And so that's something that I'm passionate about and would love to do. And I'm going to make it happen, just like I made this PharmD happen. And everything that I set my mind to, I'm going to do. So that's my side hustle at this
We love it. And I'm telling you, Jordan, they shouting you out there. I'm telling you, they shouting out these great pharmacists because they paved the way and helped them get to where they are today. And we absolutely love it. Absolutely love to see it. Now, Dr. Martin, what you doing on the side, man? I mean, besides looking clean on the scene, what else you doing out there that folks should know about?
Yes, sorry, I had to change sceneries. It's Florida. It started raining, and the internet is all over the place.
It's all
But
good.
yes, I have a couple of properties here in Fort Lauderdale, and am going on the real estate investing journey, which was a lot easier when interest rates were a little bit lower. But it's been an interesting journey. Lots of challenges when it comes to just being able to that you want to do the home, making sure that you price them accordingly when it comes to filters, to kind of whatnot. It's really I just the numbers make sure they all match. It makes sense, but it's been a really fun paid off because I have things I'm able to much prefer to take a lot of work the time. But it's definitely worth it because I really enjoy all of my people that and my renters enjoy the ride as those, and hopefully we can get another property here in the next couple years.
Okay, okay. So yeah, doing that great real estate down there, and I'm telling you, you in an interesting place. But if you catch it right now, catch it early, the way that these houses are going up, and telling you, man, you're gonna be sitting pretty. And that's what it's about. We want to make sure that people are understanding that it's not just about getting that doctorate degree. It's about what you can do. It's about how you can flex it. And there's nobody else flexing that doctorate degree better than Dr. Jordan Norde. I'm telling you, you got to tell us what you're doing and the work you're doing because I'm telling you, you're killing it, kid. You're killing it out here. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get you pulled up a little bit. Oh, let's see here. So if you have not looked, that's 10K followers, folks, for the doc right there. And she is killing it. So first, kind of tell us about your brand that is popping off, and then let's get into tables.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a crazy person, as some would define me. Never sits down for anything, but my brand is really around health and health literacy, and really expressing or trying to share like the financial literacy things that I've learned along the way. As we all know, pharmacy school is expensive. And so trying to pay for that, I've really just done a lot of different things to try and figure out how to make it work. From different loan products and things like that. So my brand is really health literacy, financial literacy, advocating for both of those within the community at large. And so with my role, I am a pharmacist on some day. Well, I'm a retail pharmacist on some days, filling prescriptions, things like that, 3 days a week. And then the other 2 days, I have the opportunity to be in the clinic. So I run a blood pressure clinic, a diabetes clinic, and I'm a part of our interdisciplinary pain management team. And so being able to counsel patients on their medications, as well as, just really learning what does a healthy lifestyle mean? What does that really look like? We hear, drink more water, but how can more water mean something different? And actually, how do you do more water in a way that will actually benefit you? So there's a lot of things that I discuss with my patients, and I'm trying to, as we talked about before, make it cool, bring it to Instagram, have some ways that people can access it, bite-sized chunks, and really be able to apply it to their lives. And then as you have pulled up here, Tables, presented by Our Table STL, is my other baby, which I take a break from time to time. So Tables is a conversational dining series created to bring young professionals together around a really good meal, really good drinks, and a particular topic. So we've covered a wide range of topics. We're going into our 9th season, or our 9th episode, 9th event, and we've talked about budgeting, so finances, credit, mental health, coping skills, entrepreneurship, your business mindset, your exit strategy, your branding, all of these different things, and really just trying to tackle the issues that are plaguing the young millennial. So my target audience is 25 to 35, and just really having conversations around the things that we're like, okay, I don't really know, I'm trying to figure this out. So for me, the topics come from things that I'm sort of dealing with in everyday life and that I'm seeing scrolling on social media. So this month coming up in September, Wednesday, September 20th, we have a discussion around love in the modern dating world. And I'm really excited about that one. Hopefully continue to get a little bit of buzz around it, because, we're seeing all over social media, oh, the guy should pay for that, and the girl should do this, and you can't do that, but you got to do this, and all of that. So just really having that conversation, I'm like, okay, get off your Twitter fingers, stop talking about it online, and let's come have this discussion in person. So I have a licensed therapist coming by the name of Ayana Mills. She is my therapist, and she's wonderful. And so having her come to facilitate the discussion so that it goes beyond just talking at each other, this boys versus girls thing, but how do we actually learn from that? How do we learn not only how to love ourselves and how to love our partners, but how to just bring that into community? So that's what we've got coming up. And it's been great.
That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Telling you, you get the doctor, you get the entrepreneur, and you're doing great work. All three of you, I'm very proud for sure. Hey, we still got Dr. Martin, Dr. Davis-Hatton, and Dr. Norde on the Doc Chat Show. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. I can see them numbers going up. I can see y'all checking us out. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it very, very much as we're streaming live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So we're going to go to Dr. Davis-Hatton. Tell us, if you could do it all over again, what would you tell yourself, and what would you tell others about going that pharmacy route? And tell people as well where they can find you on social media.
Man, all right. If I'm being real to myself,
that's what we do.
I would tell myself, don't go into it. I'm not gonna lie. For the most part, like, it's been rewarding. I'm not gonna lie. It's been great. It's been quite a crazy trip for me. I've had many opportunities, many experiences, but the thing is I didn't realize how ungrateful people are and how much people can wear on you. And that mental health piece is a big piece when you become a healthcare worker and you legitimately care about the people and you realize they could give two flying about you. It's really, it's trying. And so that's partly why at this point I'm going to launch this business, because I need to do something that helps people, but in a way that people care and they appreciate what I'm doing. Helping people find a job, I feel like, is a little more rewarding, but still within my realm and my expertise and knowledge in pharmacy, because actually caring direct patient care, unless you're in certain settings, they really don't care. They're just like, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to be here. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to do anything. So honestly, like, the real talk for myself would just be like, hey, if you're going, I went into this with a big heart, and you kind of change as you go. My heart still is big, but I feel a little jaded. at times. And so because of that, I probably would have told myself to do something else that I'm interested in, which is actually like coding and technology, like in IT stuff. I really love that and always
Still
have.
can do it. Still can do it.
And I
Yeah.
still could, but
Sure.
I'm not going to give up because I earned this doctorate degree. So I'm not going to give up. And I want to see if I can make a path for myself that I love that will still allow me to be a pharmacist and related to the field. Because at the end of the day, I did love the field and I love the things that I can do for the field. So I do want to stick with that. Just more on an entrepreneurial point, less for the people and more for myself.
Love that. Love that. Where folks can find you.
I am on LinkedIn as Antoinette. I believe it's Antoinette Hatton on there. I may not have it hyphenated. I don't believe I do. And then on Instagram, my Instagram went from modeling. It was all about modeling and that hustle. To be honest with you, I had to archive a lot of those pictures. I mean, like I had New York Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week things on there, my print modeling. I completely changed my page, and it is all about this one here because mothering is my life. And she is such a key part of me. So my Instagram is actually mothering_Koi for her middle name. So KOI. So mothering_core, and you can follow my family life. So on that page, you will see just family life. I will share things that I'm dealing with this baby, learning the growth of becoming a parent, even when I thought I was ready. And all of the awakenings that come with that, where I'm like, oh, my bad. I thought I had this. I don't have this. I will have this, though. So you will get a chance to see the struggles of raising a brand new toddler. So she is just newly 2. And then how that just works in my life and my everyday work life, what struggles I experience trying to be a working mom as well as a spouse. So that's that page. And then my LinkedIn's all professional.
Love that. And thank you for sharing the terrific 2 future pharmacist, future entrepreneur, and future leader with us on today. That's Dr. Antoinette Davis-Hatton. We appreciate you. Dr. Martin, if you could do it all over again, brother, would you? And what would you tell the next generation of pharmacists, and where can folks find you at?
Yeah. I remember going through pharmacy school and wanting to quit and calling my mom, as we all did, for those that had supportive parents. And her advice was that you could, but think of what you would want to do, but also could you fund it without being a pharmacist? And that's one of the things that has made it easier to be able to fund like the investing. I always wanted to go into property investment. I love doing like residential rehabs. I think those are really fun. HGTV is my favorite channel. But I do really, really enjoy the non-traditional routes of pharmacy. So I would tell people that if you did want to do pharmacy, to make sure that if you want to do retail or community pharmacy or hospital pharmacy and whatnot, to do it for you, because I've been able to make pharmacy what I have wanted it to be, as well as make it the great kind of assistance to our patients that I was able to. And that's one of the best things about the non-traditional route, is that you do get to do it in a different way that is going to surprise people and going to kind of shake things up a bit, which is what I've always tried to do. But you can also find me on LinkedIn. My handle, I believe, is L Clinton Martin. And I'm also on Instagram. That's more my personal. But yep, that's uniquely me for me, because I quickly found out that who's going to love you if you don't love yourself? So you might as well be uniquely you for you. So that's my Instagram.
Hey, that's Dr. L. Clinton Martin, the doc down there in Florida. Hey, you need you a place, he's the man to talk to. He's doing his thing. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you, my brother. And Dr. Jordan Norde, if you could do it all over again, would you? And where can folks find you? We already highlighted a little bit, but we know you worldwide, all the way outside. Where are you at? Where can folks connect with you?
Yeah, so had you asked me that question a year ago, I'd have been like, pew, I'm out of here. It's not going on. No, 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 no. But honestly, during school, you had to find a reason to keep going. And I remember working in pharmacy, and I heard the way that a white pharmacist was talking to a Black patient, and I was like, oh no, not on my watch. When I get out of here, it's not going down like that. And so that has been truly my motivation, and seeing how much it's needed, and how big of an impact that I can have in my role. There's so many days that patients will say, wow, thank you for telling me that. Nobody's ever cared. I had a lady that today, she said, nobody has ever cared enough to explain some of the most simple concepts to me. They just give me pills and push me out the door. And it's like, that's what it's all about, right? Like expressing that, you don't have to be on this forever. You don't have to live in this cycle of bad health. You can get out of it, and here is how. And that's been like my passion, and that's what keeps me going. That's what makes me do all of the things that I'm always doing. And for me now, I think I would say, yeah, I would do it again, even though it was awful. It was awful, okay, but I would do it again. Yeah, just to be there. I think the representation is important. If you know somebody that's thinking about pharmacy, ask any of us. I think we are willing to be, I don't want to speak for them, but if you can ask me, I will be a guiding light for you, help you get there, because the representation matters. It's so necessary. And the patients, though, yes, can be very ungrateful sometimes. For the most part, if they see you and you take that time, they will appreciate you tenfold. So.
And to piggyback off of that, I agree with you, Jordan, 100% in Clinton. Hold on, baby.
Hey, she wants out. She said the doc show is over. The doc chat is done. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead, man, Dr. Davis. It's okay. It's okay. We just love the kids on the show. We love the kids because we need them. They're the next generation. They got to see doctors like us. Like I said, Dr. Norde said representation. Go ahead, Doc, whenever you're ready. You're all good. You're all good.
Avery's like, all right, that's enough.
We've had enough of this.
She is most definitely. But I agree. If not, so my words aren't to deter anyone. I 100% am for my students. I help my students 100%, and I'll give it to you real my experiences, and I'll explain my experiences, but also things that you can do differently. And there are many paths that can be taken to find what fits for you, which is why I'm not giving up on pharmacy. I'm just trying to find what works for me at this point. Working at the startup company was actually my passion, and I felt very loved by my patients there. And it was an amazing experience. Unfortunately, the company went under. And so I'm just trying to find my newest place and landing spot as a pharmacist. But I wouldn't deter anyone from actually going this path. If you believe in what you're doing and you want to know about medicine, the intricacies of how this affects the disease, and how even to take care of that for patients, I 100% recommend it. I work as a preceptor for 3 different colleges. So if anyone wants to reach out and ask questions, ask me about the different fields, the different routes you can take, let me know, because I actually do that and give back in that way to all of my students.
And I will say Dr. Antoinette is the best preceptor. She was absolutely incredible when I was coming out of school. It worked out so well that I got to go down there and experience. She was actually my first rotation and gave me one of the best experiences for sure. Probably my favorite. I'm not just saying that.
I love you. You actually were one of my first students who actually caught serotonin syndrome in real life. You diagnosed and caught that for the first time in a retail setting. Because how do you catch that in a retail setting? Jordan did.
Don't hype me up too much.
Hey, that's what's up right there. Dr. Martin, last words. Anything you got for us?
Yep, I was just going to piggyback off of what Antoinette said. And I think my favorite thing about management in the pharmacy business is that I'm able to actually support the pharmacists doing the amazing work that taking care of the patients, making sure that they're okay, and making sure that all their medications are appropriate and right is one of my favorite things about managing pharmacists, is just giving them the autonomy as well as the support that they need.
And folks, you see how fast an hour goes when you're having fun. We appreciate these doctors. These are great doctors of pharmacy. They are doing their things around the country. Dr. Martin, Dr. Davis-Hatton, and Dr. Norde. We appreciate you all so very much. Hey, the Doc Chat Show just keeps on rolling. Come with great doctors doing things that you may not ever seen or heard, but it is being done, and the representation looks beautiful. We appreciate y'all, all the commenters, everybody that tuned in, all the family. Y'all family now. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all check us out. We appreciate y'all so very much. And until next time on the Doc Chat Show, we want to say peace out, everybody.